You're listening to Life as a Band Leader with Angela O'Neill and Outrageous 8 Records, where music meets real life and every story swings. From rehearsals to the spotlight, we're sharing the music, the mayhem, and the magic of leading a modern band.
Hi, everybody. It's Angela O'Neill. We are back with a new episode of Life as a Band Leader. And my thought here, because I am good friends here with Ron Cyger and Brent Butterworth, who have released now two all originals jazz records through Outrageous 8 Records. And I'm so proud to know them because, as I was telling Brent just in the warm up before we came on, it is actually a major accomplishment to release two records of original compositions these days, and they are great records. In addition to that, their first record was named Take Two on Outrageous 8 Records, and the second one is named Plaid Pants. And we just released Plaid Pants this last December. It is currently July 7th, 2025, and we just released Plaid Pants in December, and it had a pretty darn good reception. People really like the record, and that's pretty amazing too for originals, because that's challenging for sure. Less so in jazz because people are more used to people doing original jazz pieces. And so Ron and Brent, the point of our podcast is to talk about folks who are putting projects together and what that really takes to, be sitting around your living room together and kind of chatting about what you want to do. There is 100,000 miles between that and releasing a record. And so, Brent, tell me a little bit about what that process is between you and Ron, kind of sitting around talking about, hey, we should do a project together, and actually recording it, mixing it, mastering it, putting it on a CD, releasing it out into the world. Go ahead.
So the first one was your idea, not our idea.
That's true.
Because Ron, the pandemic hit, and I was in Ron's bubble
Yeah.
because he knew I wasn't hanging around anybody but my dog, and so we actually physically got together a couple times at his place, but he wanted to do a video. Correct me if I'm wrong on any of this, Ron. He wanted to do a tune that he had just written, his first tune he ever wrote, in fact.
Yeah.
And he wanted to do a video for it, and he said, "Can we do multi-track? Can we do some recording?" And I was gonna, send him a bass recording, and he was just gonna like play that to a speaker. I'm sorry if I'm embarrassing you, Ron, and I'm not actually sorry, but and he was gonna like play it through the speaker and then play his saxophone and put another microphone up, and I'm like, no, 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 no. So I said, look, I'm going to drop off a multi-track recorder, a little one I have,
I should have brought that up
on your porch, and
That's
then
right. That's right.
and then you'll do, I'll give you the bass tracks on it. Then you can do the saxophone track over it. Then you can do it over and over again, and then we can do a really nice mix. And we did that, and Ron had like what was this? Some kind of like auto-generated Facebook video thing.
Auto-generate Facebook.
It was like a video that Facebook automatically generated. So it was,
that's exactly what it was.
Yeah,
I think everyone was kind of getting cabin fever at the time, so everyone was looking for toys.
Yes.
And I'm I'm in the audio industry and stuff. I'm a professional reviewer and have done a lot of video work too. And I saw that, I'm just like, people are going to see that on Facebook and think I can't do any better than that. And so I said to Ron, I wrote a tune really fast and recorded my parts on it. And I said to Ron, hey, can we do another video? And of one of my tunes. And I didn't tell him I was embarrassed by the first one. And so,
hold it. I wrote the first one.
No, the video.
I was embarrassed by the video. The tune was great.
The first video. Okay,
that's our biggest hit.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so I did that, and I went to Ron's and shot some stuff, and I shot some stuff with just myself, and I think I have Ron shoot some stuff of me at his place,
Right.
and we did that, and that was good. And then we did another. Ron then saw how good that was, and he wanted to do another one, and we shot this, I think, just with our phones, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so then he wanted to do another tune because he written another tune. We did that, and then I wrote another tune. We did that,
I
and
count
then
four.
and then we were just posting these videos on YouTube,
Yeah.
and you saw all this, and we're all associated previously before all this, and
Yeah.
you saw all this and said, "Hey, why don't you? I'm putting together a record label. Why don't you guys be on it?"
Yeah.
And we're just like, "Sure, I
Okay.
guess."
We can do that. Well,
Yeah.
let me check my calendar and
Yeah. So and we it was a pandemic still, so we didn't have a whole lot to do, and we did.
now.
I think we were eventually replaced that Facebook video with another video that we shot, and we ended up doing, what was it, 8 tunes, and we did one cover tune,
We did
Yes.
8 tunes and 1 cover, right?
Yeah.
and we slowly, we recorded a lot of it on these cheap little multi-track recorders, and then Ron kind of insisted that we both buy computers so that we could raise our game a little bit. So we both got Reaper, which is a digital audio workstation. It's only 60 or 70 bucks, I think, but it's
Yeah,
fully
it's
featured.
cheap. It's so great.
Yeah, it's fully featured. It has, you can buy more plugins for it, but for reverb or whatever.
Yeah.
But it's fully featured, and we both kind of learned to use it together. And since we both had exactly the same computer, we
Right.
could we could help each other out. So if
Yeah.
he discovered how to do something, he could tell me how to do it, and vice versa.
I see.
And we fumble our way uh towards an album.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Ron, what
I'm
would you
not sure
say?
how it actually came about, but I think Angela, you kind of pushed the album thing along with Outrageous 8 Records.
Mm-hmm.
Because and it's not like our schedule was so packed. It really was in the middle of the pandemic, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Now, if you guys, you're describing kind of a pretty organic way of working as collaborators. And I actually think a lot of people really struggle with collaboration in general. But it sounds like you guys just kind of muddled through and figured out kind of triage style what worked, who could do what easiest or more easily.
Yeah.
And then that's how you figured out. I think a lot of people in the audience would probably ask, how did you figure out who was going to write what? How did you figure that part out?
Well, actually, before you get to that part, that was the first album. The second album wasn't quite as smooth.
Okay, well, that's interesting
No.
to know.
You
Okay.
want some drama in your
Sure.
podcast.
Well, so skip forward to the second album and tell us.
Well, I should point out, though, I play guitar and bass, and ukulele, and a little bit of percussion. Ron plays, you know, saxophone, clarinet, flute. And so I would kind of come up with the rhythm tracks and the raw arrangement. And then I would send it to Ron, and kind of ask him a little bit of what he wanted. Like, do you want to do this kind of solo? You want two choruses? You want one chorus? What do you want?
Yeah.
Do you want to do multiple? Do you want to do a sax solo and a flute solo, whatever? And we kind of talk about that. And then
Mm-hmm.
I'd say, okay, here's what I'm thinking about. And sometimes I just dummy up an arrangement really quick and dirty, and play like a keyboard sound to simulate the flute or whatever. And so I'd do all the rhythm parts, and then I would send it to him, and he would, in some cases, just lay down like a sax part, but in some cases, he kind of orchestrated a bunch of stuff. And then I got there's a service called Fiverr that I somehow, actually, I know how I found it. I like Davey 504, who's this internet bassist on YouTube, and he had done a video of like hiring people on Fiverr to try to play these bass lines that he was doing. And I was like, oh, I could probably get a drummer on there. And so I went on there, And lo and behold, I found a really good drummer on there, more percussionist. I don't think he played drums; it's just percussion. So I
Mm-hmm.
got him to play on some tracks, and anyway, so that's how we built the structure of the tunes and the arrangements and all that. And I think it was the best thing about it was basically the whole time Ron and I have worked together. Um, we never disagreed. If one of us felt strongly about something,
Oh, yeah.
then the other one's just like, okay, that's fine.
I to Angela, the audience may not realize that for both albums, Brent and I never really were in the same room together
I
when
know
we
that's part of
recorded.
the thing I wanted to talk about, and part of the reason
Yeah.
I was approaching the subject of collaboration is because I think a ton of people I can think of have a hard time collaborating when in the same room. And so my point, I guess, is that you guys, well, maybe more so on the first record, but I think the second record as well, your collaboration between the two of you, writing together, basically producing, kind of figuring out the roadmap, basically as a team, has gone pretty smoothly. And I think that that is unusual. And I think, Brent, you actually just answered my question, which is to say, if somebody has a very strong instinct about something that they feel really is something they want to plant their flag on, you say, okay. And that is basically
Yeah,
the way a collaboration works great, is to give in on those things. And you know what? Here's the thing about good collaborations. If that changes and you hear it later and you're like, you know what I said before, I actually want to reverse what I said, that should be just as smooth when you back out of something that you felt really strongly about. You're like, you know what, I disagree with myself now.
Ex
That should also be just as easy in collaborations.
well,
So
except when your collaborators keep saying "I told you so" over and over and over. I'm sorry, Brent. I said it so many times.
what?
That I told you so. Or no,
well,
was it you that told me I told? Oh, well, whatever.
I can't remember. I just remember the probably the hardest part was since I had to basically do the arrangement since I'm the rhythm section,
mhm,
and I had to lay down all the bass tracks before Ron did anything. That was the most, he'd send me these tunes and he'd do like a little demo of it, or half of them were my tunes, and I'd send it with my tunes. I send him a super quick little 1 minute demo of the head and the changes, right? And he would send me like his tune, like a quick little recording just to show how the melody goes and stuff. And and then figuring out an arrangement because I didn't want to do, standard head arrangement, da, da, da,
right.
da, 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 da,
Solos. Yeah.
solos, blah, 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 another
Yeah.
head. So we did that in some cases because, it's jazz. That's kind of
Yeah.
part of the deal. But we wanted to do more and I would think up stuff and kind of bounce ideas off him. And usually he was just like, yeah, sure. And but the neatest part for me was when I would get the whole thing done and I'd send it to Ron and I just never knew what I was going to get back. And but it was honestly every single time it was better than I expected. Maybe
Wow.
my expectations were low, but seriously,
Obviously.
every time I was
Wait a
surprised,
minute.
every single time I was surprised, I was just like, oh, that's great, because he would layer a lot of stuff, and
Yeah,
and some of his, I mean, he did a. I don't think of Ron as a flute player so much. And he's a
I
typical
do.
like big band flute player. He's a guy who, he plays flute and whatever. But he did a solo on one of my tunes. It was just like this burning flute solo. I was like, wow, awesome, great. So it really it was a lot of fun. And like when we finally went to mix it, um, I would just send them to him and he'd have like a couple little suggestions, but it wasn't really, it just took forever because, by the time we got around to the second album, the pandemic was kind of
Good.
over.
You
Yeah,
were good at
I
it.
had moved.
yeah.
I was working a lot full time and I was in the process of moving up here. And so
Yeah.
I was really busy and it just kind of it took a lot longer. The pandemic, we just had so much free time. We could bang the thing out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, Ron, why do you say that this, I mean, first of all, let me say something in advance before I ask this question. I will say I think that for sure as far as music production goes, ignorance is bliss. And the reason I think that's important is because when you first start your first project, right, it's all a surprise. And the fact that any of it gets recorded is like a miracle. But by the time you get to the second one or further on, it becomes more complicated. Your expectations of your accomplishments are actually higher.
Yeah.
It's unavoidably so.
Yeah.
And so it's not going to be as like, oh my God, the first time, right? Like the first time of anything. And after that, you start to think, no, I think it should actually start to sound like a record in a different way than the
Right.
very first one where you're just like, wow, we recorded something,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So why do you say, given that that is true, that the second record was harder for you guys to accomplish than the first?
For a lot of reasons. Actually, for two huge reasons.
Okay.
First reason was we had better ears, just as you described it. We
Right.
we by the time the second record came along, we both had microphones, we both had our setups, we knew the sound we wanted to get, we knew what would come out, and problem, of course, is always getting what you want.
Sure.
And so I think we both had better ears, and plus we were both better musicians, even in those couple of years and all that.
Right.
The second part is every partnership has to have someone that kind of has a big stick, lays down the law, and Brent had a big stick and laid down the law with me. Um,
Oh, and
yes,
tell me what you mean by that.
you didn't realize. Well, you need someone on a project who has the enthusiasm and wherewithal to keep it going to the end, to keep it
Okay.
pushing to the end. And
Right.
Brent was that guy.
Right.
I was the guy that was kind of sitting in the back saying, "Hey, I'm too busy doing this, or I'm doing that."
Oh, I did not realize that dynamic. Okay, this is a revelation for me.
Yeah. So Brent was that pusher. And thank you very much, Brent,
Yeah.
because what turned out in the end was really, really good.
Yeah.
So, but absolutely, no matter how much we collaborated, and we collaborated a lot, just, we wrote 50-50. So he wrote half the tunes, I wrote half the tunes.
Hmm.
And obviously, when you write a tune, you have an idea of what you want it to sound like, and etc. And I'm sure his didn't turn out exactly the way he wanted, and mine vice versa, and all that. So there's a lot of collaboration going on between us to get to the end product of a track, and then to the actual album. But Brent was the one who actually kept the project going and
Hmm.
on schedule and finished.
Yeah.
So I should echo something Ron just said, because we were like on the first album. I mean, I have a lot. I had a lot of recording experience before, but not really. I play double bass, right? So I didn't have a lot of experience recording double bass, and Ron didn't have a lot of experience recording saxophone, and that's where we really ran into problems on the first record. And we got them more or less solved, but like he would send me these saxophone recordings. I'm like, that's not what he sounds like. And because it was the notes were all there, but like I'm like, I've played a million gigs with this guy. I one of the reasons I wanted to play with him is I liked his alto sound so much. And yet I get these recordings from him that were like and I'm just like, and finally on the very last recording on the first album, he finally got a microphone that sounded good.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
tried all sorts of mics. We just try to, but I really think that sax players have to, just like vocalists, have to find like the right mic that works for them.
Correct.
And
Right.
on the first album, I tried a bunch of microphones in the double bass and was never happy. I did so much work on the mix trying to get it sounding better. And the second album, the saxophone sounds great all the way through it. I think the
Yes.
bass it's still not great. I'm still not happy. Um, it's
Those are
okay.
things
Everyone.
that a person tweaks throughout their life, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
throughout your career, you keep finding things, that the mic or, in this day and age, the plug-in, all of that stuff. And frankly, each record, if you don't have the exact same people doing the exact same things, each record sounds a little different from a
Oh yeah.
sonically speaking.
Right. Absolutely.
So,
I think that's why Blue Note Records was so into Van Gelder and his recording technique
right.
because everything was so spot on all the time.
Well, there's a consistency to it, right? And that's one of
Right.
the issues, especially as things, I think, from a musical standpoint, are changing so vastly, really, really quickly. They stayed kind of the same for a pretty long time in history, but now,
Yeah.
since like, whatever, since 2000, which is 25 years, think about how different it is since 2000,
Oh,
how much everything has changed.
absolutely.
And yet, for me, the best vocal mic in the world is a Sony ribbon mic made in the 60s. So, there's that too. So I guess, as is relevant to this podcast, which is life of a band leader, you guys have gone over some really, I think, things that resonate for me, which is there's always that person. I know it's me, Brent, you and I must be kind of twins separated at birth, who's always pushing, 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 because actually sounds like for the same reason that you have, which is I would be really embarrassed to leave a project unfinished. I would feel, just because my mom made me make lists when I was a kid, I have that in my head. If I start things, with a lot of thought before I start them, because I know personally if I start them, I will be finishing it one way or another. And so I actually take a long time to commit to whether I will do something or not, because for me, I don't do it lightly. I know it's going
Right.
to be a lot of responsibility for me, a lot of energy, a lot of time. And so in as we go forward from Plaid Pants, what do you guys see happening for your collaboration as in the future? Do you have any kind of ideas about that? Brent, you first.
I haven't even thought about it to tell you the truth. I'm actually playing a lot. I moved up north of Seattle and I'm playing a lot. I've got like piles of music to rehearse and um, I haven't even had I have not recorded other I have a podcast for about audio called Audio Unleashed,
Very
which
cool.
I do sort of bumper music for it, like in between the segments, and
Yeah.
we write a lot of original music. Me and my podcast partner Dennis Berger,
Hmm.
and I still do recording for that, but it's usually really quick and dirty. I
Oh,
actually recorded on my little multi-track recorder that's that big from
Oh,
Tascam
the
that
same
costs like
one.
$200
Yeah.
rather than, pull out all the stops. And that's kind of all I've done. And I'm so busy right now. I have uh, definitely two groups where I got to learn a lot of music and another group where I don't.
hmm.
Because it's all like
What
Dyna-Chord stuff, and every bass
music?
player's played
What
that.
style of music are you playing?
Well, I've kind of gotten more into the singer-songwriter scene up here and the open
Hmm.
mic scene and all that kind of stuff. And so
Originals for the most part instead of covers?
other people's originals.
Oh, okay.
I'm working on my own originals, like tunes with words, like a singer would use.
Like
And
with lyrics? Weird.
yeah, with lyrics. And uh, I took a songwriting class a while back, and I kind of, been kind of working on it. But I'm playing with other people's stuff, and I'm trying to. Sorry if I'm getting long-winded. Most of
You're
the
not.
open
You're
mic
good.
scene is very much like a lot of the same stuff over and over. Strung,
Right.
blah blah.
Georgia, Georgia.
You know, and I'm kind of I saw that I'm kind of like, all right, well, someone needs to kind of raise the game here a little bit. So I'm trying to do that, but I'm also trying to help other people that are singer-songwriters, do more interesting arrangements because they don't usually put much thought into the arrangements
Right.
and doing, adding backing vocals, which I'm okay at. Um, I'm doing I do a lot of bowed double bass now with the bow,
Oh,
which Ron used to hate. I only ever did it to piss Ron off. And
I like that sound
but
personally.
it worked with the singer-songwriters. It works. I just did a Dylan tribute thing where we did "Blown in the Wind." If you do it with the double bass, it sounds
Oh,
really
Ah,
wow.
that's
and
I love that tune,
So I'm
actually.
doing stuff like I'm playing with another group of a couple of really good rock guitar players and singers, and a singer who's doing like backup mostly. And I sound really good with them. I really got lucky with that.
I love that.
And I'm doing this like Diana Krall kind of thing also. Not me. I'm not Diana Krall.
I was going to say that is a transformation.
I'm helping other people sound like Diana Krall.
You know,
And
it's important to point out, Brent, that you don't play electric bass. This is all on double bass.
right, I do have a ukulele bass. I played it the other day because my double bass wouldn't fit in the room. It was a really small studio. Um,
No.
but yeah, I play double bass, so I don't like playing electric. I mean, it's I like lots of electric players. I just don't like personally
Right.
playing it.
Yeah.
And and plus, you show up with a double bass and people are just like, you
That is
know,
true. It enters the room first.
Yeah.
And so how does that bode for your original jazz, I mean, producing and writing?
well, I'm trying to write. I've written several tunes. I have one I actually like. And I have another one that I'm not done with, but it will be good. I'm trying to probably get together four tunes and then maybe performing this and see if I want to move forward with it. And maybe I could layer some instruments on top, maybe some, saxophone. And because I don't really know any sax players up here. Um,
Hey, I know one.
but I kind of want to have it, you know, it's a little more. This will surprise you.
Hmm.
Uh, it's a little more like Joni Mitchell, Court and Spark kind of stuff
Hmm.
with a zillion chords and not strummy
Yeah.
stuff. I
Yeah.
don't even know those like open chords that the
Guitar
chords
players.
like up but the cowboy chords. I don't even know those. I play the jazzy thing, and I'm just fumbling my way towards something, and I'm not sure what it's going to be, but
Got it.
um also it's a fun scene. It's a really fun scene. It's very supportive, and I
Hmm.
mean, I can't speak to other open mics, but the open mic scene up here is very big and very supportive, and
Hmm.
you meet lots of cool people, and it's a lot of fun, and it's an excuse to go, drink beer.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And Ron, what about you? What do you feel about a Cyger and Butterworth next project?
Well, actually, a Cyger Butterworth project would be really exciting. I would like to do one, but as I mentioned before, the Butterworth part of that Cyger Butterworth is kind of the pusher, and but in reality, even though it's just a duo, we both have to have a similar block of time
Yeah.
available, and things have to align. You can only imagine if you have like a trio or a quartet, how everything has to align and
Yep.
all.
Yeah. Exactly.
that's one thing though, and this is something I've kind of pushed Ron to do, is you still have your quartet or quintet right now, right?
Yeah, it's not as active as it
Okay.
should
But
be.
like that was a frustration for me, is that the second album especially took so long. It really took us almost 2 years. And yet if we had just sat in a room and worked everything out, we could have probably done it in a week.
Right.
And so and Ron's got some great players in his band, and the band sounds great. And kind of like you could do a record and do like your tunes and write some more tunes maybe or something like that, and I'll come down and record it. And you could do the whole thing, do a couple rehearsals, just do it like an actual normal jazz recording, do a couple rehearsals, and then get everybody in a decent sounding room, bang it out. And
Mm,
Hmm.
um, that would be a great thing, because Ron's originals, frankly, I'm
that'd be a lot
sad to say, are better than mine.
of
And
fun.
because I send the album to people and people are like, "Oh yeah, I really like," and they name off all these Ron tunes, and
Mm.
so
It's starting to
I think
sound like the Eagles on here. Just saying.
I think Ron's composing. I think Ron should compose more, basically.
Okay.
You're being very kind, of course, but that and
Honest,
I don't believe that's true. But thank you.
honest. Everybody says, "Hang on."
Yeah. What
Everybody
are the
says,
favorites? What are the
"Round
favorites on
and
the record?
round, round and round." Somewhere in here. Oh, this dumb blur thing.
There we go.
There you go.
Round and round, right there.
Yep.
That's the one everybody loves.
That's everybody's favorite.
Really? Oh, good,
Yep.
good. I love Round and Round. It's
And
great.
that's the one that we are actually talking about early in the early process of potentially producing a music video for that one, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And of
Right.
course,
Well,
we
that's
should have mentioned that Fandango from our first record, which is that very first tune we recorded,
yeah.
which, by the way, we lost the raw tracks from, and I had like a crappy MP3 that I put together for the video, and
Oh
that's
wow.
what we ended up releasing because we didn't want to re-record it because we liked it, and
Yeah.
that ended up being #1 for 3 weeks on the jazz on
R&R charts.
the music the Roots, what is it called, the
Yeah.
Roots music chart or
R-
whatever. It
Yes.
was on the radio play chart. It got like great radio play. And another thing for me is I went to the University of North Texas, which is a big jazz school. I was only in it for 1 semester for jazz. I switched to journalism, which is a good decision on my part, and um, based on my talent. And but they had a station called KNTU, and they just switched over to like alternative college rock or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And but I was listening to them back when it was all jazz, and I had it on my Alexa speaker, and I heard Apprender, which is another tune off of the first album, and I heard it come through the speaker. And I was like, "That's us." I'm like, "Oh, I must have accidentally played it off of my phone. Let me check my phone." I'm like, "Oh my God, we're getting played on my college radio station."
That is so cool,
That was
man.
worth everything to me,
That
just
is
to
like
hear
a
that
that is
once.
like a dream come true.
that
Yeah,
that really. I think that was really a kick.
Yeah.
but
All
yeah,
right.
both Ron tunes. So
I see. I see. So the moral of the story is, Ron Cyger, if we want another record, you better get your button gear. I think we have come to, according to Brent Butterworth, that's what's going to do. And actually, I love the idea of the next record being that you guys write and then kind of physically get together to make it just that much more easier.
I would
Well,
rather record it because his bass player is better than me by a mile.
What?
I don't know. I don't
He's
know.
better than me by a mile.
I don't know.
No. I
I
mean,
actually, that's not true. But
That
anyways.
is true. It is grossly, horribly true. But um, yeah, I like to, and I really, the last time I heard his group, I was just like, God, they just sound great. So, and there's just something to be said for recording instrument, the band in a real room.
yeah,
It's
Oh,
for sure.
absolutely.
it would have I think we would have, had we done at least some of it in a real room, it probably would have, might
We're
not have been as creative, but I think it might have been a little better. It would have sounded better.
well, we're missing that jazz, that musical interaction,
Yeah,
obviously,
which we
and
kind of faked.
which we actually did kind of fake, and but still, it's kind of neat and certainly magical when you have that interaction going.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear Ron recorded well in that kind of setting
Yeah.
with
Okay.
with only his own tunes, which means he has enough to do a full album, but you should write some more anyway.
So, Ron, do you
We
have
owe it
enough
to the
now, do
world.
you think, to do another record of new ones?
No, no, I don't. I don't think so. Yeah, I think Brent was referring to the four I wrote for the first album, for the second album.
I see. I see.
Yeah, but
Okay.
do some new
Yeah.
ones too. You do some new ones on top of it.
Yep, I'd
You
have
write
to do some new ones.
two or three
Um,
new ones.
this isn't a music writing thing, but I think the way I write it simply is if I have something to fill, I fill it. And so right now I don't have anything to fill. I have no album pending.
Oh, tricky, Ron. Very tricky.
Yeah.
So what do you need, Ron, to move forward with your writing?
Well, I think we need to actually, because I'm not a songwriter, I'm not a music writer per se. What I would need is a reason to do it. So I think we need to get a new album going. Brent, have you frozen?
Oh, he is frozen. I'm not frozen.
Ah, there he comes back.
Oh,
There we go.
he's back. You were
Oh, did
frozen
I
for a
go? Yeah,
moment.
y'all froze up for me, and then my computer
Do
restarted.
do I have to do I have to repeat all the compliments I gave about you and your playing and all that
Yes,
again?
No,
absolutely.
I look. I don't take compliments on my playing. Um,
That's
but
only
know
by
better.
special appointment.
I
Yeah.
know better.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
So as I was saying, I just I don't write to write. I write because I have a reason to write,
Right.
and that reason was the last two albums. So
Mhm.
if and when Brent has a new album project in mind, I think we're going to, I have something to fill. I have a void to fill.
All right. Well,
we're thoughts are there,
yeah.
thoughts and prayers,
Yeah,
but
thoughts and prayers.
I
100%.
gotta see how my new evolution as a performer and composer goes. And I will, actually, I did a gig with a piano player about a month and a half ago. We got another one coming up next month, I think. And normally this is like the Diana Krall-ish kind of project, but he got a gig just for a duo. So he and I went
Hmm.
and we both sang and we played and we just winged it. And it went really well. And someone came up to me and said afterward and said, I really enjoyed your singing. I'm kind of like, do you realize that's the first time anyone's ever told me that? Um, so but anyway, this is my conscious effort to evolve my whatever it is I do musically. And since I got to tell you, the bass players up here in the Seattle area are so good. It just makes me feel like I'm wasting my time.
No.
They're
I'm
really
sure
good.
that's
Oh
not
my God,
true.
every bass player I've heard up here was way better than me. Whereas in LA, I kind of felt like everybody was a little bit better than me, but I kind of felt like I had more to offer. Here, I don't feel like I have as much to offer, except for singers and songwriters who are all desperate for bass players.
Hmm. Okay. All right, so and plaid pants, we are still doing some videos for that one in the future, and we will be releasing those on the YouTube channel, which is Angela O'Neill and Outrageous 8 Records, and
Mhm.
also on the now Cyger and Butterworth has its own YouTube channel, is that right, or does it not?
We
That is
do,
correct.
we do. So we'll put them probably on there, and also we're going to release them on VHS.
Oh,
And
perfect.
cassette for
And
anyone
cassette.
that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Absolutely. Why not?
and 8-track. Actually, I got this 8-track recorder.
I like it. I think we should try that. Why
Does
not?
Yep.
anyone know what 8-track is?
No, nobody does
Oh,
now. But so this has been great. I think this has been a great conversation about collaborating on writing original music. I am lucky enough to have had two of your records on Outrageous 8 Records. Like I said at the beginning, in case people tuned in late, the first one was called Take Two, and the second one was called Plaid Pants. And Plaid Pants is a great tune, the title tune off the record. And I think the record actually looks great. I love that CD design that
yeah.
we did,
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
really
the guy did such a good job.
such a good job. So, and the future will hold for us some videos that we're going to record for this. And also, we are going to hopefully be able to put together some kind of paradigm that where we will be able to do another record. So hopefully that will all come together. I think the three of us probably have to have some off of the record conversations about how to go about doing that.
Yeah.
But it has been my great pleasure to have Brent Butterworth and Ron Cyger of Cyger and Butterworth on the podcast, Life as a Band Leader. Thank you guys so much for being with me today.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Angela. We appreciate it.
All right, we will see you guys later. Thanks everyone who watches the podcast. Thanks very much.
And that's a wrap for today's episode of Life as a Band Leader. We hope you had as much fun listening as we did making the music. If you loved what you heard, go ahead and hit follow, share it with a friend, and make sure to get tickets to the next show. Visit outrageous8.com for upcoming shows, music, and a little more band madness. Until next time, keep swinging, keep smiling, and keep the music alive.